In a crazy busy mortgage market, this one strategy could save the house of your dreams. Hey, it's Karri Flatla here, Alberta mortgage broker here in Lethbridge. So what can I say? It is such a robust, busy, healthy real estate market here in Alberta. Despite the doom and gloom, despite 8 interest rate hikes in the last year and a half, despite talk of impending recession in Canada, I don't know, Lethbridge real estate, Calgary real estate, we're on fire. There's less than 3 months inventory in the province of Alberta. That's a pretty good market, pretty hot market. That is despite the fact that residential sales have actually come down year over year by something like 30%. But inventory has also come down by over 20%. So what that means is if you're playing in a competitive space in terms of the type of property that you want, like a starter home or a mid-market home where like the bulk of the real estate activity is, you could be in a competing offer situation. You could have a seller who's getting backup offers after they accept your offer. And so it's a very tenuous kind of nail-biting situation. And to throw a wrinkle into things is if you're borrowing to buy a home, you really need to have a financing condition in your offer. Like you got to do that to protect yourself. In Lethbridge, luckily, based on my 10 plus years experience as a realtor, it's pretty normal for the realtors to be negotiating about 10 business days for your financing condition. But here's what we're finding is even on a squeaky clean mortgage file with a big shiny bow wrapped around it, submitted right on time as soon as there's an accepted offer on a live file, 10 days isn't cutting it sometimes. I had one last week. We got the big green check mark from the lender, like a mainstream A-level lender, 1 hour before the financing deadline. Like, talk about nail biter and stress for everybody. I grew a lot of gray hair that week, but you can't see it, hopefully. So it has nothing to do with the quality of the file or the borrowing power of the buyer. Like, we are doing fully underwritten pre-approvals. At least I'm doing them. So I've gathered all of your documents. I've pulled your bureau. I've reviewed all your financials. Like, we're ready to go. We know what you can confidently buy out in the real estate market. But depending on the level of service with each lender in terms of how backlogged they are, has nothing to do with the quality of the lender, but they're short-staffed because they laid off a whole bunch of people, is the theory, when COVID hit. And, I can't fault the lenders for doing that. I can't fault the banks for doing that. Everybody kind of thought that the economy was going to come screeching to a halt back in March of 2020. I was a realtor back then, and I remember it was like you could hear crickets after they declared a pandemic. Like, nobody wanted to do anything. They certainly weren't going to go into other people's homes. The showings stopped. But then about 6 weeks later, everybody looked around and said, I'm still buying a house. We all still had real estate fever, and it hasn't stopped. And I think Alberta is going to remain pretty strong economically. The residential real estate market might soften a bit, but right now, June 2023, I'm telling you, the mortgage market is so busy, and the lenders, our best lenders, are completely backlogged. I mean, these underwriters are working night and day to get your files done. So when you go shopping for a home, number one, make sure you've got a fully underwritten pre-approval with an awesome mortgage broker, because we're going to communicate with you and we're going to make sure you are ready to go and can shop confidently at that purchase price. But number two, have great communication with your mortgage broker about service times with the lender that they're going to submit your file to once the deal goes live. And make sure you're communicating that back to your realtor so your realtor is empowered, armed, and dangerous when they go into that negotiation. The realtor needs to understand, okay, this is probably how long it's going to take for financing. I'm going to factor that into my negotiations. The realtor might need to understand how hot that property is. Is there a risk of backup offers? We need to make sure that we're locked and loaded and we have enough time to get the financing done. Because we can submit a file even if we already had a rate hold with that lender, but the underwriter isn't actually going to do a deep dive document review until they get to your file based on how they prioritize for condition dates for all the hundreds of files that they're looking at. Now, this is also where the relationship between the lenders and the mortgage brokers comes in, because if the broker has a really strong positive relationship with the lender, that does help in terms of moving things along and how that lender is able to prioritize. They love working on your files because they're great, clean, well done files and prepared files. All of these things factor in. So it's a great case for using a strong mortgage broker, but also make sure you're communicating with the realtor. You have to think of us as a team that's helping you to secure and lock down that house of your dreams, because it's a really crazy, disordered economy right now. If you have any questions about that strategy or any strategy to making sure we can get your financing locked and loaded so you can buy that house, you can give me a call or shoot me a text 403-382-7335 or look me up at karriflatla.com. Remember to like and share my channel here on Facebook and YouTube, and we'll see you for next Friday Fire. Have an awesome weekend. Take care.